Dave Anderson here with the Fisherman magazine. It is August 21st. These are your headlines. Of course, the biggest headline of the week is Hurricane Erin and what effect she will have on the inshore fishing. We also have the WICC Greatest Bluefish Tournament on Earth coming up this weekend. We'll talk a little bluefish strategy. We'll talk a little storm strategy. Stay tuned for all that and more on this week's New England Fishing Forecast.
The ultimate fishing authority in the Northeast, the Fisherman magazine.
No guessing, just catching. New Explore Series fish finders keep you locked on fish with unbeatable clarity, best-in-class imaging options, and a stunning ultra-bright HD screen. There's more to explore, only with Humminbird.
Before we begin, we got a few news items for you guys. First thing is the WICC Greatest Bluefish Tournament on Earth. That's going to run Saturday and Sunday this weekend. It's going to start at 12:01 a.m., so basically Friday night, just crossing over into Saturday. It's going to last all the way till 5 p.m. on Sunday. This is a bluefish tournament of epic proportions. There's a whole myriad of ways to win this thing, or win prizes in this thing. Anything from the $100 port prizes all the way up to the $25,000 grand prize, which is awarded to the largest bluefish taken inside Long Island Sound. But if you're going to participate in that, you're going to have to register. You're going to want to go to the Greatest Bluefish Tournament on Earth.com. You can find all the details there, like the regulations, or the rules, I should say. The boundaries, which basically run from the Whitestone Bridge all the way up to the Colregs demarcation line, which this year also is going to include the race. And you know, with the wild weather coming in from Erin, the race might be a little sporty, especially on Saturday. And this may be the year, or one of those years, when a shore-based angler wins this thing. You're going to want to head over to their website. It's going to cost you $38 to register. And you know, with that, you can fish all weekend long, and if you're lucky, you might win the most significant, or catch the most significant fish of your life in the form of a $25,000 bluefish. Good luck if you give it a shot. Next up, let's check in with our tournaments. Let's see what's going on in the Dreamboat Challenge and the Coastal Kayak Clash.
Now let's get the latest from the Dreamboat Contest. We have Sam Doherty, Long Island subscriber of Amagansett, New York, with a fluke coming in at 8.6 pounds, weighing in at Montauk Anglers Club, which places him in 6th in the fluke category, keeping the leaderboard unchanged, with Rashawn Williams holding first with 17 points, Tom Luciano second place with 16 points, Jeffrey Harrison in third with 15 points. Are you the best angler in the Northeast? Well, now is your chance to prove it. The Fisherman's Dreamboat Contest is back. Win this Steigercraft center console powered by Yamaha, along with these other great prizes. Fish hard and weigh in as many of these species to be top on the leaderboard. What's the catch? You must be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine. All it takes is one fish on the board to win a great prize, so however you fish, you have a shot. For all the details and official rules, visit thefisherman.com. There were no new entries in the Coastal Kayak Clash. Dustin Stevens is in first with 9 points, Rotha Nong has 6 points, and Tom Howard has 5 points. Hey kayakers, the Fisherman's Coastal Kayak Clash contest is back. Win this fully outfitted Hobie Mirage Lynx kayak from Yak Attack, along with other great prizes. Catch and release as many of these species to be top on the leaderboard. To enter, you must be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, fish from a kayak, and document your catch. Many chances to win great prizes, so get out there on the water now and fish hard. To be part of the action, you must be a subscriber and register at thefisherman.com.
Now let's check in with Jenni Ackerman. Here's her latest installment of Open Boat.
Welcome to this week's Open Boat. Today we have a very special episode for you guys because this past summer I've been volunteering with a lot of talented young anglers, the Pink Minnows, and a lot of these girls who are literally all staring at me while I'm filming this right now. Some of them, like, they knew how to fish, some of them are beginners, but they're gonna talk about what they learned this past summer, and a huge shout out to a lot of our sponsors, specifically Quantum. Emerson, come here. Come here. So Quantum was so kind enough to donate a dozen of, thank you, of the Strive combos, and the girls have been fishing it the entire time. And they're gonna share what they learned with the pink minnows. And for everyone out there that wants to get into fishing, this is an excellent outlet to do so. Look for these clubs, volunteer, spend some time on the beach and just go, because all these girls can agree with me that fishing is a lot better than staying inside all day, right? Yeah! Let's go!
I learned how to fish.
How big was it?
16.5 inches.
High five.
And I didn't go far.
Go ahead.
I learned from the pink minnows how to cast and reel in. So yeah. I learned how to cast, and it was really fun learning how to cast. I learned how to fish because I never fished before, and this was a really good experience for me.
Hugs?
I really like fishing with Quantum. I learned how to unhook a fish. How to catch and release fish. I learned from the pink minnows that I love fluke. I love flukes.
Keep bringing it in. Oh. It's okay, keep bringing it in.
I'm having fun. Can't. It's hard. Jenni, Chris, and Bob are the best teachers ever. I learned to fish and have fun. Big minnows!
Last thing, of course, is the giveaway, which is ongoing, and this one is going to wrap up in a week. So you've got 7 days to catch that winning fish. I think I have 4 photos at this point, which I am considering contenders. And what we're giving away, what you're all fighting for, are a pair of Super Strike poppers that were custom painted for me in memory of a great friend of mine, Todd Robertson, who passed away earlier this year. This is just my way of sort of commemorating a great guy and a great angler. And if you don't know how the contest works, you just have to take a great fishing photo and send it to me. You can email it to me at danderson@thefisherman.com. You can text it to the number on the screen, and you want to just try to capture a quintessential New England fishing scene. So, guy catches a fish, stands in a place like this, that shows the structure, that shows the water, and is holding his nice freshly caught fish. Send it in to me, and make sure you put contest or giveaway in the subject line and give me all the pertinent details, like the name of the angler, where the fish was caught, what it was caught on, how big it was, all that important stuff. Send it in to me, and I'm going to pick my winner next week, and one lucky winner is going to get this set of Super Strike custom-made poppers. You're never going to see these colors again. Send them in, and we'll see who wins. Moving over into the reports now, I think anywhere north of the Cape is an area where you have at least a little bit of a corridor of time where you can still get in some pre-storm fishing. I would be extremely careful going out there to do that in any one of these places. This storm is going to come in with a lot of northeast wind. The northeast wind is going to blow right in to that Maine, New Hampshire, and northern Massachusetts shoreline. So you're definitely going to have to be careful. I think this is mostly going to be a surf fisherman's game, and I think it's going to be mostly a wise surf fisherman's game, and meaning that somebody who knows when to quit, because waves are forecast to get as large as 15 feet, and that's breaking waves on the beach, so you don't want to be caught in the middle of that. So definitely try to be wise out there, but pretty much any other fishing that's going to be going on this weekend in that area is not going to be happening. So moving down into Massachusetts area, with the exception of some surf fishing maybe tonight, I think your better bet is going to be to fish freshwater. You're going to want to move inshore. A storm moving by like this has the power to really fire up that freshwater bite. The largemouth is pretty much a guarantee that it's going to be good at least for a day or two here. Probably a lot of topwater action, a good time for frogs and whopper ploppers and things like that. Also, you're going to see some smallmouth activity firing up if you have a pond near you that features that species. You may do well in the Wachusett Reservoir, for example. Another thing that happens when these big sort of heavy low pressure systems go by is the pike fishing tends to fire up. So if you're into the pike, you want to get in on sort of one of those late summer, early fall pike bites, right now might be a good time. So those ideas pretty much stretch across the entirety of the Northeast. So you can take that method and apply it whether you're in Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Maine, and chances are pretty high that you're going to do well. Moving down into the Boston Harbor area, did hear about a lot of nicer striped bass inside Boston Harbor this week. Sounds like the recent sort of drop in average temperatures sort of fired up a little bit of a pre-fall preview type of a thing. Seeing some really nice fish being caught right now. There's a lot of bait inside the harbor, and there's some really nice fish in that like 25 to 35 pound range, maybe even a few bigger than that. Still some big bluefish in the area as well, although they seem to have scattered a bit. And that same thing sort of stretches all along that same coastline from Boston Harbor down through Plymouth. But that's about to get a serious mixing, and probably going to be doing some searching next week before we find those fish again. Crossing the canal out onto the Cape. One of the big things that's been happening on the Cape, and this pretty much surrounds the entire Cape, is the bonito fishing. We've seen some bonito inside the canal. We've seen some bonito outside the east end of the canal. And we've seen a lot of bonito in the Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, Vineyard Sound, Nantucket Sound, and eastern Buzzards Bay areas. So you've got a lot of bonito moving in right now. Albies are still pretty much absent. I've only heard of a few guys hooking up here and there. We're still waiting for that big wave to come in, and I got my fingers crossed here that this storm is going to be the thing that sort of lights the fuse on the albies. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Striped bass wise, stripers have been good in a lot of different places around the Cape, especially on the bay side, sort of in the crook of the elbow, out toward Truro, out toward P-Town, and Wellfleet. Those west-facing beaches on the bay side of the outer Cape have been producing. On the outer Cape, I would avoid those beaches for at least 3 or 4 days. Now, I am not an outer beach fishing expert. I haven't spent a lot of time out there in a long time. So maybe there is a bite that fires up on a really hard northeast wind like this, but I'm thinking that there's going to be some major swell, major dirty water, a lot of weed, and I would be avoiding that at all costs, personally. Heading down toward Monomoy, striped bass fishing has been good. We will see what happens after the storm, but suffice it to say, the fishing's been good. Nantucket shoals, same deal. The fluke has been decent. Who knows what's going to happen after the storm? I don't know if these fish are going to hunker down or if they're going to head out deeper and try to find some stabler water. Only time will tell on that. I have a few guys that are heading out to the shoals, hopefully on Sunday. We'll see if the seas allow them to get out there. So I'll have a report for you guys next week on that. And then into Nantucket Sound, Vineyard Sound, the Elizabeth Islands, and eastern Buzzards Bay. The bonito bite has been really good in that area. Surf guys have been cashing in off the Vineyard. A lot of boat activity all throughout those areas. And we're seeing some decent sized bonitos, some fish, you know, up to 5-6 pounds in the mix. A lot of small ones. Fluking has been decent inside Nantucket Sound. Seems to be even maybe a little bit better moving up toward the canal for the second week in a row now. We've seen some bigger fluke coming out of that sort of approach to the canal. Sea bass has been tough. A lot of short fish in Buzzards Bay, unless you're getting out into the western Buzzards Bay. And a lot of the guys that are doing better are heading out toward Nomans or even further south. And no one's making that trek until seas calm down quite a bit. So sea bass at this point, I would consider to be off limits for the most part. Heading out into western Buzzards Bay, we've been seeing pretty good sea bass activity there. Again, heading out into deeper water. We're looking at, you know, 50, 70, 80, 90 feet of water. But there's some nice fish on structure out there. There's been a surprising number of late summer blackfish in the area. And striped bass has been holding its own. It hasn't been great, hasn't been bad, just kind of plugging along. And there's been a lot of bonito out in the western part of Buzzards Bay as well. Seems like over the last 3 or 4 days, a really strong push of bonito came into that area. Now let's check in with our Massachusetts field correspondents.
Thanks, Dave. Dan checking in with this week's report. Boston is still going strong. There's a lot of talk about people saying that they can't get the stripers to bite, but we've been doing extremely well. Last weekend, I talked to the guys on the boat, and they had one trip with close to 60 bass, and the other trip wasn't far behind that. So there's really, really good fishing right now. There's some good fish out there. You know, I believe they were, you know, in the 30-inch to, you know, close to 50. A lot of big fish going around. So I had the weekend off. I was hanging out with the family up in Winnipesaukee, and got a chance to go out with Mom and take her out fishing, and we got some decent smallies. Even though it was the water's very warm, we still had some good action. So it's good to see the smallie action, you know, really good in Winnipesaukee. It's one of those spots I don't get out there enough because I'm out on the boat, but I kind of love the ocean a little more. Anyway, fishing's good. Mojos, massacres, live pogies, that's what they're hitting on. Deer Island, Spectacle, close to the fish pier. There's a good school of bass working in that area. You know, you find the birds, you'll see the pogies flipping underneath them. The bass are right there. That's what I got for you guys. Stay safe. I'll catch you on the next one.
In the famed waters of Panama awaits a fishing experience like no other. Tropic Star Lodge welcomes anglers to get in on world-famous fishing action. Plan your perfect trip today. Tropic Star Lodge, the ultimate in fishing adventures for more than 60 years.
Hi Dave, it's a nice cool morning here in the Cape Cod Canal. It's nice to have to wear a little jacket, a nice change from the humid weather. So I've got a west tide running next to me here. Hopefully we'll bring in some striped bass from Cape Cod Bay. Hawkeye Willis rode by me the other day on his bike. He was heading east and said he was going for some mackerel because that's all there is. And that's true, but there were some fish caught, some striped bass caught about a week ago, 15 to 20 pounds, not many of them, but it's kind of hit or miss as it's been. And but there's huge schools of mackerel then and still are in the east end. Guys are using sabiki rigs to catch those, of course, but other guys are just catching them by accident, just bringing in their lure and snagging them. So hopefully the striped bass find out pretty soon that there's big schools of macs there. So I just want to make a couple of announcements that there's a free family fishing clinic at the so next week, August 27th, from 4 to 6 at Smuggler's Beach, the Bass River Fishing Pier, 220 South Street, South Yarmouth. The Division of Marine Fisheries and the Cape Cod Salties are partnering for this to provide free bait and gear for people. Registration is necessary though through an email to Kimberly Trull. That's KIMBERLY.Trull, TRULL, at mass.gov, mass.gov. It's a family fishing clinic, so it'd be a great thing to take kids to, and they can learn how to tie the best knots and how to cast and bait a hook and a lot of other things. So I know people in both those organizations, and they're dedicated anglers that help a lot of people. So that's really nice. The other thing I just want to mention is that I've been doing stand-up comedy since January at open mic nights, the Kowloon and Sagas, Margaritaville and Hyannis, Jake and Johnny's on Federal Hill in Rhode Island. And so a week from today, August 28th, I'm going to be making my pro debut at the the Lemongrass Asian Bistro in Warwick, Rhode Island. And it's a great Chinese buffet and a comedy show, myself and 7 other comics. The doors open at 5:30, the buffet is 6:15, and the comedy show starts about 7:30. The tickets are $50. That includes a wonderful buffet. I've never eaten there, but I'm told it's really delicious. And the tip and the comedy show, it's all included in that one price. And I guarantee I'll be at least telling one joke about fishing. So you should enjoy it and get out. And it's all you can eat and all you can laugh. So I hope to see you there. And my tip of the week is that when you're walking up and down the riprap stone bank on the side of the canal, be careful that, you're looking in front of you, but I've seen some guys, not lift their trailing foot up high enough for clearance over rocks. And so, you're concentrating on what's in front of you, but don't forget when you're bringing your back foot forward, lift it high enough to get over those rocks. I've seen some accidents happen when they didn't do that. The toe of the boot catches on the tip of the rock. So until next week, catch a big one.
Crossing over into Rhode Island, the bonito bite has been the main source of excitement in Rhode Island. A lot of the striped bass that were on the eastern half of the state have moved out. No one knows where they went. The only guys I'm hearing about getting in on any kind of consistent action, or any size for that matter, have been surf fishermen fishing after dark. And these guys are picking through just a few fish a night, but they are finding some solid fish. So it seems like a small contingent of that giant body of fish stuck around, and they're making inshore swings after dark. And we'll see what happens after the storm. If I had to guess, just based on my own experience, by Tuesday, Wednesday, we should see a pretty good movement of striped bass moving into this area. We've got the new moon right now coming right up. We've got a major weather change, and we've got a major sea change. Now, what happens when we have a sea change like this? The summer water's been stratified. We have a layer at the top that's very warm, and then it's getting cooler and cooler in layers as it goes down. We get a storm like this that's going to throw some major waves inshore. It's going to mix up all that water. It's going to lower the median water temp, and it's going to bring some fish into the intertidal zone, as they call it. And we've already been seeing evidence of that. You probably can't see it, but there's a blitz going off right out there behind me. And I've been getting reports all week from guys, mostly guys that aren't fishing, guys that are friends of mine that are contractors, working on shoreside houses, and calling me up and be like, dude, there's a blitz going off, right out in front of me here, and I'm swinging a hammer or whatever. So we have seen a strong uptick in fall-like blitz activity as the temperatures have dropped this week, and as this storm has gotten closer and closer. Heading out toward Newport, we've been hearing about some good fluke fishing, actually, on the back sides of the reefs and some of those sand patches out there, basically from like Elbow Ledge all the way over to Brenton Reef. A lot of decent sized fish too, like 17 to 23 inch fish. You're weeding through some shorts, but the guys that are sticking it out are finding some nice fish. And that extends out toward Block Island as well, where we've seen a pretty strong uptick in better catches of fluke. We will see, what Aaron leaves us in its wake. But I would have to guess, since most of these fish that are out toward Block are coming from deeper water, that fishing would just pick right back up where it left off. It's been some good striped bass out around Block Island. There's still a lot of brown sharks out there, so you're dealing with, encounters with the tax man. And sea bass fishing continues to be so-so, but in that deeper water, they are finding more consistent catches of bigger fish. Down toward Point Judith, and pretty much actually all the way over to Newport, and then all the way throughout the breachways, we're seeing a lot more bonito now. And we've seen some better sizes of bonito in this area as well. Some of them going as big as 5 or 6 pounds. But many more of these fish are on the smaller side. They're mixing in with some cocktail bluefish. So, if you don't mind weeding through the small blues and the small bones, you have an opportunity to catch some bigger ones in the mix. Haven't heard of another albie encounter. Had another friend that was out on a kayak out off of Narragansett say he feels like he definitely saw a pod of albies. Couldn't catch up to him in the yak, but he said it was, very clearly that, sort of porpoising, powerful forward running that the albies always do on the surface. So, he's a good fisherman. He's a good friend. I believe him. Just hoping that, maybe again, this storm will be the thing that lights the fuse on the albie bite. Out along the breachways, I didn't hear a ton this week. We do have the new moon coming up. We do have northeast wind, which tends to fire up places like Watch Hill and Napatree. So I do feel like surf guys are going to have a shot at getting some fish. Been some bonito along this stretch. There's been some sea bass out in the deeper water. There's been some decent fluke out in the deeper water. And the boat guys that have been getting out and hitting places like Sugar Reef and the south side of Fishers have been doing pretty well with some nice sized striped bass. But again, they're dealing with many shark encounters, so you got to be quick to get them to the boat. Now let's check in with our Rhode Island field correspondents.
Thanks, Steve. Hey guys, got a lot of stuff to catch up on real quick in the East Bay, a little bit of Mount Hope Bay, and some really good fluke action this week. We'll start up in the Warren Barrington Rivers. Hey, got some reports of some small stripers assaulting some bait up inside of the Warren River by the bridge at night. Might be a shot for you to get down there at night and fish the pylons of the bridge. Maybe take a walk down Matheson Street and hit those docks also, just to catch a small striper. Hey, fun stuff to do when the water's warm up inside the rivers there. Moving out into the bay, I got some good reports of some fluke. Yes, some good fluke fishing out in the Mount Hope Bay area towards Mount Hope Bridge, the Papa Squash, right inside of Hog Island. There's a lot of areas in there. If you can find 50 feet or plus more of water, that's probably going to be a best bet to get some keeper fluke. My friend Jaron checked in. He got a 22-incher out of there this week. My friend Kyle checked in. He got a 24. I'll tell you, there's some good fluke in there. You just got to, put some time in. Work the ledges along the shipping channel of that Mount Hope Bay area, from the lighthouse of Hog Island all the way up to the bridge, depending on what tide you're running. Always a good bet. There's a lot of bait in there. There's not too many sea robins. There's some sea bass in the mix. There's some scup in there also. And all, good eating fish, good table fare, especially when they're from the bay. They seem to just taste a little bit sweeter. Moving up into the mouth of the Kickmua and the Sakana River, there's tons of bait in there too. I haven't seen or heard of any bonita coming up inside of the Stone Bridge in Tiverton. But look for that to happen. There's been a lot of birds working right in that area right there. It's very suspect for that, for the bones or maybe some albies to get in there. But I still haven't heard of anything yet happening here in the East Bay for that. But hey, going forward, I think there's going to be some good ground fishing, and stick to that. There's been some tautog around. Things are just starting to take place. This water cooled off a little bit this week. So, hey guys, we'll catch you next week. Tight lines.
What's up, Dave? What's up, guys? Checking back in with you this week. Well, a storm is on the horizon. You know what that means. The feed bag is on. So, I kind of took a break from, striper fishing for a little bit and went back to my green buddies, my largemouth. Went to the freshwater side of things again to do a little checkup on my buddies. It's been very good, guys. It's kind of breezy out here today. with these winds starting to pick up with the Hurricane Aaron coming through. I get so excited, guys, when hurricanes and prefrontal systems come through. It's like the best thing ever. I've been throwing a lot of big baits at night, big baits during the day. As you can see, it's kind of low light. It's kind of cloudy out, so cloud cover is a big thing. You know, big crawler baits, big crawler style baits on the top. This is a top water bait here. This is actually designed for muskie, but the fish that I'm getting into are really pissed off. They're just not happy. So better hardware, better fishing. Remember that. Also, the tried and true spinnerbait. You know, wind-blown banks, structure. I'm finding a lot of fish on structure, boulder rock. You know, with these cool nights and the cool mornings, you know, it's kind of tricking these fish into getting the feedback on. So, you know, they're not getting beamed by the sun all day. They're not being lethargic. So, again, when these systems come through, the pressure kind of gets low. And, you know, these fish kind of come out of their summer haunts and kind of come up shallow and kind of put the feedback on. So, I mean, we've been getting some big bass. It's fun to see, and some nice chain pickerel, you know, between, you know, 2 to 3 pound pickerel, you know, bass up towards 7 pounds, you know, big bass. So, there's a lot of life. And I found my white perch. I'm so happy I found them. I lost them for a little bit. You know, I was kind of down in the dumps, but I found them again, and I'm happy getting those too. The crappie bite's been okay. It's not been the best, but I suspect with this front, everything should start feeding for the next week. So get out there, guys, get fishing, because it's getting good. All right, I'll check with you next week. Later.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing: that nothing says no to fish bites.
Hey, Dave, Todd, Treonze, Hook Fishing Gear with a weekly fishing report. Well, dog days of summer. I have not personally found a striper in the last week. Tried a couple times, ran my kayak with the motor for about an hour out front of Newport, and could not find him in the usual spots. Checked deeper water spots where they usually are, and not sure where they went. You know, a week ago Monday, I had one of my best days of the year, and since then have not been able to find him. My gut says the Sharks have won and have pushed them out, at least for now, until we see some sort of a fall run kick in and possibly bring them back into those areas they normally would be this time of year. So in the meantime, the bottom fishing has been really solid. Lots of keeper tog, been harvesting Asian crabs, using those in the shallower water, you know, depths 25 to basically breakwater, finding those fish pretty regularly out front along the seconded areas, Satchwit Point, you know, all those areas kind of in play. Also mixing in some nice sea bass, you know, getting them on the crabs while I'm fishing for tog, or getting them on a Yozuri deep diver that I'm trolling behind the kayak. I have seen the Bonita, they're back. You know, tried a couple different areas over the weekend, and you know, got into one on Sunday, which was a decent fish. Blind trolling a Yozuri crystal minnow behind a kayak as I was kind of, you know, looking to see what was going on out there. So it was good to see that. So they're definitely back around. And I'd say from now, all bets are off. You know, tomorrow things are going to ramp up with this storm, and we're going to get a complete reset. So a week from now, it's going to be a totally different situation than it is now. Everybody be safe out there, and look forward to another report next week. Stay hooked.
Crossing over into Connecticut now, of course, it's all eyes on the WICC this week. The race is going to be in play, but I think the race is going to be very sporty, especially on Saturday. So it's only going to be the hardcores that are out there in the race. The good news is I have not heard a ton of great news as far as bluefish go inside the race. The striped bass bite has been really good in the race. There's been some sea bass during the slower tides out there and some of those deeper holes. But the striper bite has been leading the way. There have been some bluefish. I just haven't heard of any that I would consider to be a tournament winner. Getting up toward the Connecticut River, it sounds like more bigger bass have been moving into the shallows up in that area. And I think with a little bit of mixing of the water coming up this week, things cooling down a little bit more, we're only going to see more of that. There's been some, you know, sort of palm-sized bunker in the area, which have been firing up the inshore bite for some surf guys, some kayak guys. There's been a little bit of topwater action in the mornings. Guys throwing live eels have been finding some big ones after dark. Fluking has been okay. Fishing deeper water, 50, 60 feet of water, maybe a little deeper than that. Sandy patches, putting out some better fish. And then as we get past the Connecticut River, that's where the best blue fishing has been for a few weeks and continues to, and it seems to be the area where that continues to produce a potential winner. There are schools of various sizes. You're seeing some schools of small bluefish. You're seeing some schools of like 8 to 11 pound fish. You never know, that could be a winner this time around. Getting this far into the sound, you're probably not going to have as much of an effect from the groundswell from the storm, so that's a good thing. But the thing that I've been hearing about the biggest bluefish have been that they've sort of been lone wolves. So guys chunking are finding these bigger bluefish, and very often they're finding them sort of shadowing schools of striped bass, which is kind of interesting. So, you know, maybe go out first light, throw your topwater stuff around, see if you can pull a big one on a popper or a dock or something like that. And then when the sun gets up, just switch to chunking. And you got a good shot of finding a really big bluefish that way. Scup fishing's been great throughout all these reef systems. Guys are doing really well. I have heard that the shore guys haven't done quite as well over the last 7 to 10 days. So things are maybe slowing down for some unknown reason in along the shallowest structures. But out in the deeper water, the scup fishing's been really, really good. Sea bass have been very scattered. That's what I've been hearing. Most of these fish are deep. Most of these fish are on the smaller side, so you got to weed through lots of shorts to get them. Out in the Western Sound, I have not gotten a lot of reports personally, but we're going to hear from Max in a minute, so let's check in with our field correspondents.
Hey everybody, coming to you under a dreary sky. Cooling conditions have definitely kind of happened in Connecticut over the last week or so. Water temperatures in the river are starting to drop with these cooler nighttime temperatures in the 50s. And that should mean better fishing for pike in the relative near future if this persists, and it may well not. Now, one of the big things going into this weekend is, though we're not going to get any sort of a direct impact from Hurricane Air, and it's going to remain well offshore, it is going to keep things windy. So expect some wind this weekend that will probably have some impacts on the ease of fishing on the big open parts of the Connecticut River. That said, fishing could remain pretty decent. Expect these cooler temps to make the pike turn on a little bit. Water temperatures are falling. The river is still very, very low. That'll make it hard to get boats through certain areas. Some of the coves that have tighter entrances you may not be able to get in and out of, and certain sections of the river where there are shallow sandbars, shoals, and rocks may be tricky to navigate. That said, fishing should be fairly good. I've always liked this time of year. There could be a lot of juvenile shad dumping out, spurring some good bass bites. So make sure you're top water ready at any given time if you see those smallies blasting the juvenile shad. And yeah, things should be decent. A little windy for my taste this weekend, but I'm still going to get out and see what I can make happen.
Hey everybody, for this week's Fisherman Report, we have the first storm coming up of hurricane season. Probably gonna miss a day and a half of fishing, but up to this point, striped bass fishing has remained very good for big cow stripers, but also think about this. Now we're into August 20th. This is the end of August, okay? And what I like to call the beginning of the fall run. And what we're seeing is some schoolie size stripers, some 30-inch class stripers. So we're getting a bigger variety of fish, all the way from, you know, as small as 24 inches up to 50 inches. So that's what you want to see, things shaping up into the fall run. Now we have a bunch of openings in September. September is really the peak of the season. That's when everything's going to start getting aggressive. The fish are going to bite better. We hopefully will get some albies. There are some bluefish around on the deeper reefs. I know the bluefish tournament is coming up. My advice for people trying to find big bluefish, depending on the weather, I think it's going to kind of start to settle down over the weekend. Some years you're going to have to fish in the rivers. The mouth of the river will sometimes hold some nice sized bluefish. Now the deeper reefs are going to hold big bluefish as well. One of the issues in eastern Long Island Sound is the boundary line for the bluefish tournament cuts off most of the real productive bluefish spots. It kind of doesn't make sense to me, but you're going to have to focus on the deeper reefs that are within the boundary line and the river mouths. Bunker's always going to be a good option. If you're in the Western Sound, bunker chunks, fresh bunker chunk works very well. Diamond jigs are always going to work well on the reefs as well. That's all I have for you for this week. I hope to see you in September fishing with us for the fall run.
Hey everyone, Max here from Fisherman's World with your local fishing report. This coming weekend is the greatest bluefish tournament on earth. It's all of Long Island Sound, and in the Western Sound we do have some bluefish action going on. You definitely got to bounce around, but we had the moon and we had some bigger tides, and we saw some fish over 12, almost 14 pounds this past week. I would say places like 11B, 28C, Green's Ledge, and Middle Ground had definitely the bluefish action going on, especially the top of the outgoing to places like 11B, people diamond jigging the deeper parts. I would say on the outgoing tide, concentrating from 100 up to 50 feet with 67s, 87s is definitely a good bet. And then when the tide slows, you can definitely switch over to flutter spooning, because on these 11B, when we have these outgoing currents, the flutter spoons gets washed out. And the diamond jigs are, the best that when the tide is pumping, especially when you're trying to match the hatch, when you got these 4 to 6 inch profile baits out there like sand eels, spearing a small peanut bunker. Diamond jiggers work fantastic. Also stuff like cast masters and crocodiles. So when you try to match the hatch this time of year, when it comes to peanut bunker, some of my favorite lures to use are cast masters and crocodiles. Also paddle tails in that 4 to 6 inch range. Some good bluefish tactics, moving into the bluefish tournament this weekend. I would definitely chunk bunker and bring a lot of chum with you. So bunker chum 4-gallon pails, bunker oils and chum bags are definitely a must when you're, when you're in this tournament. You want to bring the fish to you. If you can get a nice chum slick going and bring the bluefish in, that would be great. So we're going to be stocked up a fresh bunker chum, and bluefish oil, man-hated oil for the bluefish. We'll have wire leaders, hooks, etc., you name it. Guys, trolling during the day is another great tactic, so umbrella rigs with the tubes. Red is always a popular color, and multicolor. Deep divers also work really good, like Rapala and Nomads. And if you really want to weed out some smaller fish, trolling reliable bunker spoons can really be a great tactic too on wire line or braided line with the inline drill. If the weather's kind of iffy this weekend, you can still stay around the islands and chunk and get a chum slick going. So you got plenty of options going into the bluefish tournament. I want to wish everybody good luck and have a great time. Thanks.
That's what I have for you guys in the reports this week. Hopefully it's going to inspire you to get out there and do some fishing. Just going to have to dodge the waves and the wind. I think it's going to be a wild weekend, especially outside of Long Island Sound, especially out of some of the backwaters. In fact, some of these backwater areas like Narragansett Bay, like some of the larger tidal rivers, might be your best bet if you're really itching to get out there this weekend, because you might find some cleaner water, and you're certainly going to find stuff that isn't so rough. If you're not a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, I highly recommend you head over to our website. That's thefisherman.com. You get a full taste of what we offer. We cover all the fishing from Delaware to Maine. We cover all angling disciplines, whether you're a surf guy or an offshore guy or anything in between. It's $31.95 for a year subscription. You get 12 paper magazines sent to your house. You're going to get 26 digital editions sent to your email. You're also going to get digital access to all of our back issues going back as far, I think, as 2017. You're going to get digital access to all 3 editions, and you can't go wrong with that. But if you go to the website and you're still not interested, or you're just a little skeptical, at the very least, give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube, and hit that little bell thing down there so you get a notification every time we post something new. I appreciate you guys for watching. and we'll see you next week.